said that after the Clipper game, you were like, he's due for an eruption. Did you ever foresee that kind of explosion tonight?
I told the coaches this morning he was approaching something. You don't know, but he doesn't have those kinds of shooting nights consecutively. And I saw how frustrated he was in L.A. I was like, I got to figure out a way to get him going. And I wish it was something that I did or schematically we tried to figure some things out. He just had one of those nights. And I think the only person that could have stopped him from scoring tonight was me by taking him out of the game. He just had one of those book nights that none of us take for granted. And on top of that, he was making the right pass out of the double team. That was even more impressive. And then as guys started making shots around him, I thought Chris's last three was about as tough of a three as you can, have to make, because he caught it and he couldn't tell if the guy was closing out, and he hitched it and still shot it pure. That was a big-time play. But Book's an amazing basketball player, not just a scorer. I thought the competitive edge tonight gave us a lot of juice, because at halftime I showed clips, but I just said, we got to go out there and play with some confidence. I didn't see the confidence level at the place where we typically have it. We can't let shots dictate our confidence. And I thought Book led the charge in the second half, and it was just an impressive night.
Curious as what maybe you guys did defensively with CJ. He hit a three early in the third.
Yeah.
He didn't score after.
I don't know. I think he missed some shots. I looked at a couple of his shots when he took them. They looked pretty clean. But Mikal was in his hip. Josh was in his hip a little bit. And sometimes, that can have an effect. Just contesting a shot, putting a hand on a body before a guy takes off, like sometimes that can affect a guy's shots. But CJ's an unreal scorer. So most of the time if he's off, it's because he's missing. But I don't want to take away from Book, J.O., and Mikal just hawking. Landry had something to do with that too. Those guys just stayed with it. And I thought they got confidence from Book. Once he started knocking down shots, then they're taking the ball out. We can set our defense. The first part of the game, first half, we couldn't throw it in the ocean if we were on a boat. And it just allowed for them to get into transition. Once we started making shots, our defense got set. Our third quarter defense was so much better. They had 26 points as opposed to 41 in Game 2 in New Orleans. So that gave us some confidence as well.
With all the time, we've talked about Chris spending a little more time off the ball this
Yeah.
year. And some of those threes he were hitting, a lot of them catch and shoot. Do you feel like he's getting more comfortable?
No. Everybody's like, shoot it. Like, we want him to take, if Chris took 6, 7, 8 threes a game, we'd all be happy, because we know that's what he works on every day. But he knocked down the ones that we needed tonight for sure. There was one in the corner, and I couldn't even see if he could see the basket. Like, the contest robbed me from seeing Chris, so I couldn't even tell if he could see the bucket, and he knocked that one down. And then the one he hit on the left wing tonight was almost like a dagger. And that gave us confidence to go back down and play better defense out of the timeout or in half court. I can't remember.
Josh, obviously, he started off the season, inconsistent minutes, and now he's getting the Zion assignment down the stretch. Just what can you say about his defense?
I thought, he has the ability to stay in your way. Now, I don't know if anybody can stay in Zion's way. I mean, he still got to the basket and scored a number of shots going left. The key for me was he only got 16 shots and he only got 7 free throws. That's something that I thought helped us. If he was in double-digit free throws, that means he's fouling, getting us in foul trouble. But Josh did a really good job of making it tough for him to catch on his spot. There were a few times where he got to his left hand and, he scored. Biz came over one time and I think he got fouled, or Nance got fouled, but then he missed 2 free throws. So it's pretty good to get the ball out of Zion's hands. But Josh is just one of those guys that has a huge impact on the game on both ends. I thought the offensive rebounds he got were about as impressive as any play that happened tonight. I mean, he just kept going, and you could just see him spring off the ground and go above everybody to get it. And like I said, I got to figure out ways to get him on the floor because he helps us on both ends.
What you think of, you talked about the free throw line, was there anything that you felt you guys did to keep them off? Is it better defense? Is it better position? What would you?
Probably a little bit of both. We're not used to having this disparity in our favor, 35-13, so it's hard for me to even speak on it. I'm not used to being in this position, but I thought our guys did a much better job of, moving their feet without fouling. I thought we call it wall on wheels, and we were moving our feet with our hands in the air, and we weren't reaching. And again, J.O. was one of the guys that was leading that charge. The guys who are on the ball a ton, Mikhail does it, Book does it. We just did a good job of being disciplined in those situations where guys were attacking the basket.
Did you see, you mentioned the shot that Chris hit. Was it one that Booker hit tonight and you were like, did a double take like he made that one?
It was just a bunch of them. Maybe the one way over in the left corner. It was almost like,
When he went out of bounds.
I can't do that. That's what you're sitting there thinking. I thought a couple moments, one of the shots he made got overturned and was a 2 in the first half, and then in the second half, one got overturned to a 3. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. But the stuff that young man does on the floor it's unique to him. You're grateful for it and you enjoy it. And he gave our team a lot of energy tonight, not just with the scoring, but just that competitive drive. Coming out of halftime, everybody, I didn't feel it the way that I typically feel it, but he was like, okay, I got this. And I think, again, the only person that could have stopped him tonight was me by taking him out of the game.
When y'all were making that comeback, Booker scored 25 points in a row for you guys.
Is that right?
Yeah, have you ever seen anything like that?
I've been in the NBA a long time, man. I've seen a lot of stuff. Yeah, I've seen that before. Unfortunately, it was probably somebody I was playing against or coaching against. But he scored 12,000 points tonight and set an arena record. So that's something that he and his family can enjoy. That was really impressive.
Monty, when you guys aren't hitting your threes, what's the next option you'd like to see them go to?
Shoot the next one.
Just shoot.
We don't. The last thing you want to tell guys with great intentions is to not shoot. Now, we may recommend attack the paint, but that typically leads to a rim shot or another 3. We never want our guys thinking about, shooting 2s over 3s. I'm a guy that likes 2s, but we want our guys to have the clearest mind when they're in that moment and they're not making shots. The last thing I want to do is infuse any lack of confidence in their abilities, because I watch those guys work every single day. I walk around the gym every day while they're shooting, and I'm just watching them, And sometimes I watch to see what kind of play I can draw up for those guys, but most times I'm just watching them shoot because I enjoy them working. And so because of that, we have a saying called reps remove doubt. When I see the guys getting the work in, I want them to shoot it in every situation. And it paid off tonight. We kept shooting.
How much value is there in dealing with
Sorry.
how much value is there in dealing with adversity in the regular season? You guys obviously lost to this team a couple times on the road. You have the big comeback tonight. I know it's just one game, but how much value?
That's why I always laugh at people when they say the regular season doesn't matter. This is where you build the calluses. This is where you build the grit. This is where guys who haven't played in certain situations get that experience, so that when they do, if you're fortunate enough to get to the playoffs, they have a reference point, So I think it's important for us. And like I said, last year I felt like we won a lot of games. We typically won them down the stretch with, Chris and Book and a few, Mikhail making plays. This year, you're seeing it in different ways early in the season. Josh, D. Lee, guys who haven't been in our program that are making plays. I think that stuff allows for you to be hopefully a better team in the playoffs if you're fortunate enough to make it.
Thank you.
Thank you.